seem to be built that way. Self-interested creatures, seldom concerned by anything beyond their own horizons. Some realize they are villains in the story of others and wear this as a badge of honor. Worse still are those who choose to play the victim on their own stage, never rising above the challenge of a cruel and indifferent world, but quite content to live on sympathy. All too often I've filled my chapters with the very same trite musings. But on a good day, I may rise above, and on the best of days, an entire page of my story might be filled with the glories of foolhardy hope. While I believe we are heroes of our own making, limited solely by our own vision, all too often evil prospers. While full-hearted dreamers' mouths are shut by ideals that cannot or would not be accepted by this unrelenting age of decadence and greed. Still, in your silent desperation, lift your eyes and see beyond. Look for those that share your struggle, for you labor not in vain. That's Hero. That's off Garden of Roses, Volume 1. It's available on the website there, MaverickRoseMusic.com. Go check it out. Volume 2's out right now, too, as well.
That?
So
Son's a gun.
that's how we're doing it. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got a frog in my throat. I'm worried I'm going to, cough up a phlegm ball right into the camera.
Don't do that, man.
Is it in
Don't do
3D? Will it be like it?
It might be.
Do you
I'm
need
not
some
sure.
No?
But hey, man, it's better than having those egg rolls from last week, right?
Hey,
Those were good. But
I'm sure they were delicious, but they
Weren't
put my
those
man to
good?
sleep on air. If you go back and watch that episode, he's like leaning back in the chair, like about to go to sleep.
yeah, that
so.
was last week. Tonight, I just don't feel like doing this. But
Yeah, man. Yeah. There it is.
Do
There
you
it
ever
is.
feel like doing it?
kinda.
Yeah?
In the middle of the week, it seems like a good idea.
Do you like, yay, I can't wait to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on
But
Monday?
now it's Monday.
Nice.
Monday's kind of a hard day.
It is. It is kind of a hard day.
Well, it's
So-
the start of the work week.
I'm Maverick. This is Darcy.
Darcy.
That's Jim.
Hi.
We're doing our thing out here at Niche Wine Lounge. Let's see. What do we got for that? That is right there. Right there. NicheWineLounge.com.
Right here.
Go check it out. That's right.
Right
And
here.
we are right here. And our sponsor is Rescued Wood Rehab. And we got Marty from Rescued Wood Rehab. He's going to come out here for us. And
He's right here, too.
Do you think
Go
there he
ahead.
is?
Go ahead.
Hey, Maverick, how are you?
Good, man. Good. How are
What
you?
about Gemini?
No, my.
Gemini.
Hit him with the Gemini. That's right. If you're playing at home, anytime we say Gemini, you can go ahead and drink, even if it's water or soda, whatever you're into. Alcoholic beverages as well. We like to play drinking games here, even if you're sober. So anytime I say Gemini or you hear the cash register, you can go ahead and get your drink on. All right. So what's up, Marty? How are you doing
Hey,
tonight?
Maverick, how are you tonight? How are you tonight?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
So,
my friend.
Rescue Wood Rehab is proud to sponsor the Maverick Rose Music Hour, and very happy to be here once again on a Monday night, live from Niche Wine Lounge.
Yeah, man.
And so, where are we streaming tonight, Maverick?
Tonight, we have expanded our footprint. So we've tried streaming on Facebook. We've tried streaming on YouTube. Now we're doing both. So we're in both
Fantastic.
locations right now. So whether
Because
you are
we're
watching,
that popular.
that's right. So whether you're watching at Facebook or whether you're watching at YouTube, we want to thank you for being a part of the show.
So, a couple things on that. So,
Yes.
if you're out there on the YouTube,
Yes,
you need to give it one of these. Give it one of those
that's
thumbs
right.
up.
Give us a thumbs up.
And
Give us
then,
a subscribe.
And there's
We
some
like
other
that.
stuff you can do. Subscribe. Make sure you're doing a thumbs up. And if you're out there on Facebook, Maverick Rose Music.
Yes,
right? Maverick
that's right.
Rose Music.
You can check out the website
Give
there.
Maverick Rose Music a little like and a follow.
That's right.
And while you're at it, go ahead and do that for Niche Wine Lounge.
Perfect.
Give
That's
it a
right.
little like and a follow.
Something
And by the way, do that for Rescue Wood Rehab, where we will give you anything from a piece of wood to build you a complete project. And I'm working on that board for your cajon repair.
Perfect, man. Hey, really quick, why don't you talk to us about the wine, beer, and boards? I've got the thing up there so everybody out there
so
on
we
the
got
internet
wine,
can see it. So
wine, beer, and boards, which is an event where people can come in and actually build their own epoxy charcuterie or cutting board, if you will. And it's a fun time for people to play with epoxy if they've never done it before. And that's going to be on March 24th, a Sunday from 5 to 7 here at Niche Wine Lounge. And you can sign up, through the Rescue Wood Rehab Facebook page.
And-
So, again,
And I want
like
to point out
follow.
that despite the lies that have been propagated on this very show, epoxy is perfectly safe. It's
It
not
is-
dangerous. So
it is
whatever,
perfectly
no matter
safe.
what Jim might tell you,
Unless Jim puts it on his face.
don't put it on your face. But on the boards, it's absolutely perfectly
It
safe.
is not appropriate to put on your face.
Yeah.
But yes, it is very safe, and it'll be a very fun event, and we look forward to talking about it more.
Will Bud the shop dog be here then?
Bud the shop dog will definitely be here. He was not at work today. He did not go to the shop today. and I told everybody who asked about him that he was preparing for his podcast.
There you
So he will, I'm sure, make an appearance on the podcast
He
here
usually
shortly.
does, yeah,
Not even
absolutely.
sure where he
Now,
is.
one last thing. So you've got this fancy button on here, and I noticed that my co-hosts also have theirs on tonight. I left mine at home, unfortunately. That is,
You
bring it
did?
on into the camera. Get a little closer over here. Yeah, just right into that shot. Let people see. So these are available only to our Patreon subscribers. So if you go to patreon.com/the Maverick Rose Music Hour, I know that's a mouthful, but if you sign up on there, all our first 40 subscribers, we're going to consider those founders. We're going to give you one of those buttons. You get all kinds of behind-the-scene content. You can access the replays of the podcast a whole week early. And then we actually have 4 sponsor tiers that we're going to have where if you sponsor us, we will give you a shout-out on the show every week as well. So you can actually be partner with us to help make this thing possible. So
Do you know what Patreon is?
I looked at it, I don't get it. So if you subscribe, you see it a week early, so we got to do the show a week early just for a
that's
couple
right.
weeks.
We have to do the show a week
It's going
early.
to be more than a couple people.
And then we got all kinds of behind the scenes. I can't talk tonight. Behind the scenes content going on.
I didn't really know what it was either. I had
Well,
to
there's
look.
lots of behind-the-scenes content, and
And I do want to say Marty shoots most of the behind the
I
scenes
happen
content
to be
while
privy
we're
to
filming.
some
And
of
he
that.
doesn't show me any of it.
And
Yeah.
we're going to include some of the performances because we always do a live performance after that we don't air. And so some of that content will be in there. There'll be lots of cool stuff. So.
Yeah, there's lots of great performances after the show.
That's
so
right.
If
And,
you're, if you're
usually
watching on
that'll-
Facebook, come see
maybe
us.
you
A
could
lot
put
of
it-
those performances feature Gemini.
Maybe you could put a camera
I'm
on
done
Jim
now.
for the day. Wouldn't you like to follow Jim around for a day and see what he does?
That's got to be a pretty interesting.
I don't know. He's got a smirk on his face.
He's like, I don't know if you do want to follow me around.
That would be interesting, wouldn't
Well,
it?
thank you so much, Marty. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. If you hear
Cheers.
anything you want to comment on, of course, come up to the mic here. But we got Bud coming in the camera now. Look at that.
There's Bud the
There's
shop
Bud the
dog.
shop dog.
There's my puppy.
We are a dog-friendly show for sure. So we will feature Pawfic Match a little bit later. We have, as always, adoptable dogs from them, and we'll do a little segment there. But we'll keep moving right along right now. So we've talked about the fact that we've got the Patreon now up. You had something you want to say, Jim?
No.
You like to comment on last week's show, I've
Yeah,
noticed,
you
so.
can do Patreon for us, which
No, we covered that.
As
We're
a, we did, okay.
Yeah.
Patreon's got a kind of a creepy sound, with like some kind of
Patreon?
some kind of
I think it's a play on
conglomerate.
patron.
Yeah, the idea is just that people who want to support us, it's like a tip jar basically. People who
lot
want to
of
support us,
people-
help us make this content.
a
The
lot of
show is not
people-
free to make. So.
No, and a lot of people have done it for a lot of different reasons.
That's right. So
yeah,
it's think
I
of
thought it was
GoFundMe,
interesting.
but
All right.
recurring and just letting people partner with us.
I
You know,
don't like
because
the week
without
early.
our audience, the
But
show is not
we're
possible.
not going to do a show a week early.
So what are we saying?
So basically, the show that we're doing right now
Yeah.
will only be available to our patrons for a week, and then everyone else will be able to see it, unless you're watching it live.
Oh,
You get to watch the replay early.
So it'll be very special.
That's right. Very special. Only for our biggest fans.
Will Gemini be able to watch it?
Oh, look out. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Are we,
all right.
Are we Patreons?
So, Jim, tell me what you've got notes here.
just I didn't do my homework last week. 60s one-hit wonders. I just want to throw a few of them out.
Did you get mad I just did 80s?
Well, yeah, you were prepared, and I wasn't. You know. Dirty Water, Black is Black, Incense and Peppermint, Spooky, Classical Gas, Journey to the Center of the Mind, MacArthur Park, Eve of Destruction, San Francisco Get Together, Something in the Air, in the year 25, 20, hippie, hippie, shake, na, 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 Dominica, and a Gata Davida, Lion Sleeps, wipe out. That's a few of them.
Journey
I-
to the Center of the Mind was
Say what?
the Amboy Dukes, right? Journey to the
Yeah.
Center of the Mind.
I don't
Ted
know
Nugent.
most of those.
So Journey to the Center of the Mind is interesting. I just bring this up because Amboy Dukes is it's a psychedelic song, Journey to the Center of the Mind, right?
It's a good one, too.
But Ted Nugent was in that band, and he's like straight edge. He doesn't do
What
any
band?
drugs,
What
alcohol,
band?
anything.
What
The
band?
Amboy Dukes.
I don't know them. I
So it
didn't
was
know most of
Amboy
their
Dukes
songs.
with Ted Nugent, and then later he was in Damn Yankees. But yeah,
And in between, he had
and
his own,
he had his own thing,
he
yeah,
had
where
his
he's
own.
and he still does his own thing.
What is that
so.
written on?
Oh, there's more on the back, but I read enough. Red
The
Rubber
point
Ball.
is, there were
Do you
a
have a-
lot of amazing one-hit
do you have a
wonders, and we did
favorite?
talk about that last week.
Do you have a
Of the
favorite?
one-hit wonders?
Yeah.
I'll have to study on that and come back next week.
All right, that's fair.
Nothing
You're
stands out.
recycling paper because that's on the back of something too.
That's
right?
good.
I don't waste
I
it.
think
that
it's a
like-
Chinese menu, if I'm not.
Or is
no,
that a
that's not
bill?
right.
Is that a bill?
I don't know what he's
No,
got
it's
going on.
a note from the apartment complex. I
A
live in.
note from the apartment complex.
It's
All
a
right,
love
this is
letter.
hi-fi stuff that you can't get anywhere
A
else.
love
right?
letter.
I love it. Perfect. So we were going to talk about the 1970s this week and what the way that rock and roll evolved. Yeah, we got yay from the crowd here. So yeah, it's fantastic. So the evolution of music, is that what we're just? the
Yeah, I was
change
just
from-
mentioning that the 40s was Sinatra was the big shot.
Yep.
He thought he was further on too, but 50s was Elvis,
Oh, watch
right?
out
Yeah,
for Marty
yeah.
on
No
that
doubt.
one.
Yeah, Marty and Frank, I know.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
And 60s, who was it in the 60s?
I'm not sure there was anybody in the '60s.
Oh, them Beatle guys.
Oh yeah, them Beatles.
That's right. The British
So,
invasion. Yeah.
Them boys.
So I was
Who dat?
around then, and it was very palpable that everyone was waiting for the next big thing in the 70s. It's like they
What do you mean?
expected it to happen.
Oh, because there was
Yeah, there was something every
a
decade.
decade.
And it's like, that thing you sent me about in the 40s, Sinatra was worried.
Sinatra was worried about Elvis.
And
Elvis was then worried about the Beatles, and no one has threatened the Beatles in the.
Yeah. So there was never a big thing in
Yeah.
the 70s. Who's next? That was referring to who's next. Who's going to be the big thing? I remember reading a review of the first. Who's that band I'm thinking of?
in the '70s.
The Reaper Band. Who's that?
Blue Oyster Cult.
Thank you, Blue Oyster Cult. Oh, this might be the band. The big. But
Yeah.
there wasn't a big band.
Yeah.
Because like
I
was it the Who
disagree.
and the Rolling Stones like
Well-
in the '60s though?
Zeppelin was maybe the biggest band of
Thank
the
you.
70s, but they weren't like the new thing.
Thank
know?
you.
He was giving you that his mind there. That scared me.
It scared me too, man. That was that's a Marty's making his way to the mic.
Oh,
What you
no.
got for us, Marty?
So first of all, I do have the drink of the night.
That's right. So our album of the week, for those of you that are playing at home, our album of the week was "The Queen Is Dead" by the Smiths. And Andy, if I get Andy to stick is Andy
Andy.
back there? Andy, wave at the camera, man. Where you at? Oh, he's
Can't
missing.
see him behind
Can't
this
see him.
big
He's
light.
back there. He's back there. All right. So Andy, it makes us a signature cocktail. Oh, there he is. Andy makes us a signature cocktail each week, and this week we have the "Thorn in My Side," which is a reference to the Smith song.
And I'm going to
"A
give
Boy
you
with a Thorn
an
in His Side."
initial,
Yeah. You get an initial tasting or
taste,
review.
Yeah.
How come you keep getting to do this and Andy doesn't come out and talk about it?
I don't know. Sponsorship has its privileges.
That's right, because Marty is our sponsor, and Andy is working.
This is delicious, and it comes with fruit.
That's
So
so it's a health drink. It's
Orange and
basically
cherry, so it's actually
it's basically a smoothie.
basically a smoothie. Yeah.
Nice.
So, but I did want to point out to
Yes.
your prior conversation around everybody's waiting for the next big thing in the 70s. And what I experienced was I discovered the 70s bands in the 80s and 90s when I was disappointed with what was going on there.
Yeah.
And the 70s bands, exploded, obviously, and everybody discovered their music later on. So just
Why?
wanted-
Who's your favorite '70s band?
well, I think you think of like the Eagles, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the Eagles
Yeah,
were
yeah.
great, but then in the 80s and even into the 90s, right? And even today,
Yeah.
the Eagles continue to be a great,
Right.
band from the 70s.
Yes.
And somebody would argue and say, no, they really started in 68 or something, right, Jim? But
No, they were early 70s.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it was one of those things where, a lot of those 70s bands were actually discovered later by a generation that was maybe discouraged by what was happening
And-
there. Kind of like, disco.
And
they
I,
were paying attention.
I think that I can certainly relate to that because growing up in I was born in '85, so 10 and 95, my high school years coming into the turn of the millennia and all that stuff, and it's like I didn't really like any of that. I didn't connect. None of that music said anything to me. So I go and I find I find my dad's records. I find my uncle's records. Thank you, and I start to connect. That's the stuff. That's the storytelling and the songwriting that did something for me that made me want to become an artist, And it doesn't matter whether it's, Aerosmith, Van Halen, Zeppelin, all these bands that are writing this music. And I know a lot of that is not stuff that necessarily like Jim and I will talk about this and different perspectives on it. But the fact is, each decade, the music, I'm not going to say got worse because it's art and it's perspective. Hold up. Marty, do that again, man. That must be really good.
This is really good.
This is really good.
Why? What's he doing?
Well, I said Jim and I, so he had to drink because Mondays are the new Friday, apparently. But the point of that is, and it's like you're saying a lot of the 70s bands started in the 60s. I consider myself like an 80s fan. I like music from the 80s, but a lot of those bands started in the 70s. Like I started listening to the Police, for example. A lot of their stuff actually came out late 70s, and then it took off and kind of defined what was going on. Talking Heads, same thing. Talking Heads 77, brilliant, great album.
You guys know all the dates.
I don't know.
Let's start with early 70s.
Okay.
Who's that?
Blue Oyster
I'll
Cult.
leave you guys.
Thanks again,
Cheers.
Marty. Yeah,
Black
we'll catch
I'll
you.
let
Sabbath.
Jim and I go on.
Oh, look out.
Black
You
Sabbath.
just wanted.
He just wanted to drink some more.
He just wanted.
Oh,
to
wait.
Alice
Ted's
Cooper.
here.
Hold on.
Ruh-roh.
We got Ted there.
So you always talk about the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, most of which I don't remember.
Okay, all right, that's
Because
fair.
I was at the age where you don't remember those. I remember the older stuff, the George Gershwins.
Sure.
I think you should do a show one night about show tunes.
So actually, I don't want to blow the lid off of everything, but that's kind of what we're going to talk about next week, I think.
We
That
are.
sounds good.
Sort of,
All right.
because we're going to talk about soundtracks. So I think in the same we'll talk about show tunes next
First
week.
time, because
absolutely.
I was a hoodlum as a teenager, and I started dating this really classy chick, and she said, I want to go to the Porgy and Bess.
Yeah.
And I said, what's that?
Yeah.
And it was at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. First auditorium that had an opening roof.
Yeah.
It was kind of a lousy night, but about halfway through, they started to sing Porgy and Bess. Summertime.
Changed everything, yeah.
The weather changed. In the middle of summertime,
have a
they
good
opened
night,
that
Ted?
roof,
That's
and
amazing.
you got this cold breeze walking
Yeah,
across you. And I fell in love with show tunes.
There you go.
So do it as a favor to me.
Absolutely. Next week,
You fell in love
we
with
will be
show
talking.
tunes, but not
We
her.
will be talking about show tunes next week. You heard it here first.
You figure out the scheme. It could be the best of show tunes from any other show, or just a best show.
I love it. Yeah, we got it, man. Awesome. So in
We're
talking
getting agreement from the
But-
audience there.
That's right. So we want to show on show tunes. I like it. So but talking about the 70s
Yeah.
and that's I think too a lot of where the excesses of the 80s started. That's where the Rockstar image, trashing the hotel room, driving your car into the pool.
That's the first thing I thought of when we thought
Yeah.
it was trashing the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
That was like the thing to do, right?
That's right.
They don't really do that anymore.
Nobody smashes their instruments anymore either.
And you'd think you'd know that now because of all the social media.
Yeah.
And there wasn't social media then.
I think maybe that's part of it though. And then the record label footing the bill for everything, being able to sign off on it.
They have a handler.
That's right.
They have
Exactly.
a handler that won't. Did you ever trash a hotel room?
No.
Good for you. Good for you. I know you didn't.
Well, I was never a rock star either.
Wow.
Oh my, I don't think that's true at all.
You're a
That's not
rock
the
star
stories that I was
now.
going to say. You're doing it now, man.
You're a rock star now.
All right. Early 70s.
Yes.
Back to. Your singer-songwriters, your Billy Joel, Elton John, your piano guys.
Yeah.
Your Joni Mitchell, your James Taylor.
Yeah.
Then you had Eagles, soft rock, Aerosmith, hard rock.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different stuff happening in the early 70s.
Yes.
And then things got weird. And even the Stones and the Who and the Kinks, they were still putting out good stuff.
Yeah.
To the mid-70s, the late 70s, somehow we had disco and punk at the same time.
Right.
And,
They're kind of cousins.
And Kiss.
yeah, well, that's another
the
thing.
spectacle.
Late
you know.
70s,
that
Alice
is- That
Cooper.
is spectacle.
things got...
Ozzy Osbourne.
Hmm?
Right?
Yeah.
He did a lot of
Well,
that.
yeah, from Sabbath and then yeah, in the early 80s, Ozzy on his solo career. Yeah.
Sabbath, like you mentioned, actually late 60s, right? Sabbath,
Right.
I think, was Cooper was like 69, too.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
anyway, the
He's
70s
still
was a
here.
lot of variety, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
When did radio really come about to like really help and push? Was that in the 70s?
Well, you have the transition. So you AM radio. Everybody had AM radio, the
Yeah.
little transistor radios and stuff, and then the transition to FM, where you have a different format. So
I don't know when that was.
yeah. Well,
FM radio was big, what, in the late 60s, early
yeah.
70s?
So the 60s into the 70s, that same
Underground,
transition. Yeah.
they would call it,
Yeah.
where you could hear album cuts and everything. It It's the top 40. We used to make fun of top 40. You know?
Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Top 40 was like Carpenters and stuff like. You used to make fun of the Carpenters. Now
That was
I have
some good stuff.
No, I have Carpenter's Greatest Hits CD. Now I love
Johnny
the
Johnny G's out there in YouTube. He says 1971 on Apple TV is a great documentary series of the music of that year, and I
Oh.
have heard that. So if you, that,
All right.
Do they do
well,
all
let's
years, or-
stop and watch that? Turn it.
yeah,
on.
well, I'll put it on right now. We don't have the broadcast.
Jim's just going
license
to
for
kick
that.
back.
That's
All right,
Watch it.
Johnny.
And we don't have the egg
Thanks,
rolls
Johnny.
to put us in the right. Yeah,
No
thanks,
egg
Johnny.
rolls.
That's cool.
No egg
yeah,
rolls.
We'll be checking that out. So
Yeah.
cool stuff. Rockstar image. You know, when you think about the Rockstar image, and I think a lot of that comes from that same thing. So we're talking about trashing hotel rooms, and then you've got the arena rock, where it's just how big can this thing really get?
Right.
15 tractor trailers bringing in all the gear and the tonnage. I remember at one point Pink Floyd was talking about after, like, when they were coming from the Animals tour, before they went in and to do the Wall and everything. And it was like they had so much gear that it was cheaper for them to buy a studio and just set up their own studio with their own gear and then rent it out to let other people come use their equipment than to just store all the stuff in between tours. So they did. They just bought a studio and set it
Good.
up.
That's good business.
And then, of course, you have the Wall, where they actually built a wall on stage every night.
Oh, did they?
And that actually lost money. They lost money on the tour. It cost them, I think it was like $200,000 or $300,000 in
Each
'79 money.
Wow.
Each night. And they wanted to do, because of what happened on the Animals tour with Roger Waters sort of getting assated on stage and stuff, they wanted to
not
play
know
smaller
any of
venues.
this.
It's a whole thing. So we'll talk about the Wall some
But I
other time,
think the rock star image is interesting because how many are really an image or who they are?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of difference sometimes between what's out there in public.
Well, and
and
there's some of us use stage names, and there is a separation because you're playing a role. It's a
Right,
character, and then
right.
you've got people
And
that,
you're
that
entertaining.
don't do that. That are just they are who they are.
well, that's kind of the difference between like a James Taylor and these big shows like you
Yeah.
were talking about that
Yeah.
in the arenas and what are they really like in person?
That's right.
But some people weren't into the show. Like both Dylan and Lennon commented on Mick Jagger, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with the music, his dancing around.
Yeah.
Just like kind of
'Cause they didn't
not
do it.
baffled them. They just
So let's talk about this a little bit because you're a songwriter. I'm not really a songwriter. I mean, I do occasionally write songs, but I don't consider myself a songwriter. I'm a performer. So for me, it's more the entertainment is the important part. The music could be anything. Not anything, but I mean,
'Cause you put on that act when you're out there.
Yeah, to me, it's like if the music is acceptable, don't suck. That's my number one rule. So like, if you don't suck, you don't have to be great as long as you're entertaining, and that's for me. That's what's important. Like, I want to bring the show.
And you
There,
do.
and there are people, some of whom are here, that are fantastic, like and skilled musicians that bring the absolute best in tone. Like Jim will sit there and worry over what his tone is like, whereas my approach is much more punk rock, where I'm like, look, just turn it up. We'll figure it out on the back end, as long as it doesn't suck.
And get people watching and get
You
people
just
involved.
pull people in, and then my thing is just to make you feel like you're a part of the show and entertain.
Because you don't really walk around taking your shirt off all the time, do you?
No, that would not be something that I do at all. Not me.
Not in real life. Not in real life. Jim doesn't do it either, but I think it's interesting that people put on a show.
Yeah.
And do people expect that now?
So yeah, from the non-musician's standpoint, like, what is your opinion on that? Because obviously, like, you're listening, so sometimes you're getting the full experience,
Right.
And then other times you're getting the true songwriter experience, where they're telling that story, and the
you
music
talking
is the
about
best
someone
it
I
can
go
be.
see locally or like people?
Just in general, like as a consumer of music, what's your perspective on it?
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
There are some people like I went to see the Rolling Stones years ago, and I was not really that into
Right.
going to see them. They put on a great show.
Right.
They put on a great show.
Yeah.
And I like their music, some of it, but they really put on a good show. But then, there was another time, and I'm a huge Buffett fan.
Yeah.
One of my favorite times seeing him was when he was acoustic.
Right.
So it kind of really depends.
And like you've talked about, so you're a fan of both Elton John and Billy Joel.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elton John puts on a show.
Absolutely. And Billy Joel sits there.
Billy Joel sits there.
Right.
They're both amazing.
They are.
So as a consumer of music, like, is it just the artist is, I think if you really get to the crux of it, the artist is going to give you the show that they want to give you, if they're allowed to. If the audience is with them, if they have the support, if they make it to that level, they're going to, So when I
They
went,
probably, I would think, and you would know this, react to the crowd as well, right?
and I went. So last year I went to see Morrissey in Washington D.C. At the end of the year, and after I thought it was amazing. He was celebrating his whole career, and he was talking about he played a bunch of songs from the Smiths. He played a bunch of his solo stuff, and when I got done, I stopped by the restroom. And there was a guy that was, they were standing next to me washing his hands, and he goes, that was a terrible show. I don't know why he didn't play more of the fan favorites and this, that, and the other. And my thought is, he played the songs he wanted to play, and he killed them. Every song that he did was amazing. Was it my list if I had gone and said, these are your greatest hits, you have to play these songs? No, there were some in there that were deeper cuts. But the point is, he played the show he wanted to play, and it was good.
Was it a small venue?
It's like 6,000 people, maybe 5,000 people, something like that. I don't remember. It was at the Anthem, and I don't remember the capacity there.
Well,
but it was not a huge show.
But I would also think for those who are playing stadium, they get huge feedback from the audience.
Of
there,
course,
from,
go watch a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing show.
It is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but just getting that feedback is much different than a smaller venue, much more intimate in a smaller venue.
Yeah.
So I think you get a different show in those places too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the venue has a lot to do with it, and Jim and I can Jim and I can attest to that because we've played to small crowds, we've played to large crowds, and the show is definitely different when the audience gets in.
Which do you like better?
I mean, I was going to say the niche is good because it's a small crowd that feels like a big crowd. They all get into it. I want a crowd that's into it, that wants you to be there. And to me, that's the important thing.
Do you have a preference?
For
Smaller
big
or
or
larger?
small?
Yeah.
I like that night we played to that one guy. Remember that?
Yeah.
We did that.
We did do a show to one guy one time. Sue Ellen Cuff on Facebook says, "Hi, Jim."
Hi, Sue Ellen. It's my
Yeah.
good friend Sue Ellen.
There you go. All right, so Sue Ellen's watching out there
All
in
right.
Facebook land. Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Do you know what Facebook is?
It's a book with a face on it.
Sue Ellen knows
Nice.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sue
she
Ellen knows
does.
what it is. She's
She
watching.
keeps
So
bugging me
right
to
there.
get on it. I will get on it eventually.
There you go.
So, Billy Joel and Elton John, have you seen them both?
I've seen them both and I've seen them together.
Which show did you like better? Do you care about Elton John wearing weird stuff and acting like a...
That's a shtick. I mean, that's fine. No, you know what? I don't.
You're
know
there
that
for the music, right?
absolutely. But when they did a show together, it was amazing. But alone they are as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you forget if you're a fan even if you're not, how many songs they have that you like. Because it's just like we went to see the Eagles last year or 2 years ago, and they were doing Hotel California.
Right.
That was that tour.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll probably know like half the songs.
Yeah.
I knew every single song, and I didn't even know that. So to me, that was one hell of a show.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, and there was no fanfare.
Right.
They're just up
No,
there.
they're just doing their thing.
They're
yeah.
just up there singing, and the crowd went wild.
Sure.
They
You know.
basically reproduced their records on stage, right? That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
And that
the
one- that
quality.
tour,
They're a fantastic live band. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it was. I did not expect it to be as good as it was, and it was amazing. And it had Vince Gill too, so that was not that I wouldn't want Glenn Frey, but Vince Gill was a great person to be in there too.
So there's different kinds of showmanship also. Like I've seen Springsteen and The Who, and they put on a show, but it feels organic. They're moving in ways to suit the music.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger doesn't seem organic to me.
Very rehearsed.
Not
Don't
rehearsed,
tell
it's
Billboard
like-
they said he's the greatest frontman
I
of all
know.
time.
That doesn't surprise me. I've never seen the Stones live because I've heard their live recordings, and I don't think they sound good, so I wasn't really
They put
interested.
on a good
It's
show.
interesting,
They do.
too, with the Stones in particular, because if you listen to their early live stuff, they don't sound good, really.
Which is what I
objectively. But currently,
initially
they
heard.
sound better than they did back in the day. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, they
impressive.
put on a really good show.
Absolutely.
They do.
So, I believe that brings us to our sick burn of the week.
So we try not to talk to each other too much about what we're going to talk
That's
about.
right. I tried to ask you. I was like, what's the sick burn of the week this time? So for those of you that don't know, if you're just tuning in or you're just here for the first time, our sick burn is the idea that there are musical feuds. There are people that have kind of issues. We talked about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
You talked about within the Beatles.
The Beatles.
And yeah, so anyway,
So we don't talk about it before we get here.
Leonard Skinner and Neil Young.
We
yeah.
just want to have,
Yeah.
organic moments ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
So I don't know if you're gonna like this one or not, but
Uh-oh.
it is very topical right now.
Okay.
It's a topical feud.
That's good.
And that's Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Oh, Hall & Oates, yeah.
Yeah.
Some good stuff there.
They've got a big feud going on. They're
Yeah.
not talking to each other. There's
know.
restraining
It's
orders.
heartbreaking.
Oates is trying to sell his half of the catalog, and they're not together anymore. And what a great duo they were.
That's right.
And they have made it very public.
Yeah. Oh,
They've
yeah.
made it very public. Do you know Hall & Oates?
Yes. What's the burn? Just in general?
Well, that's
you
what I'm
think?
saying. It's not really a burn. That's
There's
why I didn't
so
know
much
if you
as
would.
it- but no,
I
but
didn't
it's
know if you
good.
would
No,
like
it's a
that
musical.
'cause
No,
it's not
that's
like a
fair
burn.
but it is a musical feud.
There is a burn
And
because they Oates put out a restraining order on Daryl Hall. That's a big burn.
that's a big
All
burn.
right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a vocal burn.
I threw away all my Cheerios and Quaker Oats because I read that there's chemicals in them. And I was relieved because it's breakfast stuff that's supposed to be healthy, and I hate it. So now I got a reason not to eat it. This is off topic, isn't it?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I think because Oates
Oats
is in Hall and Oats that we're talking
Doesn't
about.
take much.
We're talking about oatmeal.
And
All
there's
right.
no Cheerio in Hall?
On that, I'll just go ahead and say that Jim and I don't know what he's talking about right there.
Darcy
All right.
definitely.
Shout
don't.
out to Steve V. I heard that he's out there in
Hey,
internet
Steve.
land, and also Chessie. You're saying hi
Hey,
to everybody
Chess.
out there. So we love our watchers online there.
So I didn't know that it was a burn, but it's certainly a feud.
Well, I promise you that if it goes on much longer, there will be songs written
I'm
by
sure
one
there
or the
will-
other.
and
of
there may
them that
already
will
be.
Yeah,
They just-
there's beef stuff out there.
yeah, but I thought, it's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
It really is. And the selling of the catalogs, I don't know that I really understand that because a lot of people are selling them now. So
That's right.
But I guess it's
Got to
not,
get that money. It's a
I
cash
guess it's
grab.
not theirs anymore. Even I saw Barry Gibb saying he would sell his catalog.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's your family.
For the money.
Yeah.
I don't
money.
understand how the people who buy it make that money, but they can use the song in
Licensing,
ads and
television
stuff.
shows, movies. Yeah.
They can
big
make
money.
500 million back eventually.
I guess, but you're giving up
So,
yourself.
because licensing is huge. So, Aerosmith, for example, the majority of their wealth, even all of the albums that they've had that have gone platinum, the singles, the fact that they did the Armageddon soundtrack, all that stuff, more than half of all of the money that they made in their career came from licensing their music to Guitar Hero Aerosmith. One video game made them more money than everything else that they've done in their entire career.
Fun fact about Armageddon, and you said that.
Yes, I did.
The song, I Don't Want to Go.
Don't want to miss a thing.
Do you know what that's about? You know what that came from?
I don't.
I just found that out recently.
What's that?
Barbara Streisand.
What?
What do you
Barbara
mean?
Streisand, because she wrote a book and she's been doing interviews, and she said that song was written by Diane
Warren.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's because when they were first dating, her and her husband, who's James Brolin, who's an actor,
Yeah.
he's told her, "I don't want to fall asleep," and she said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I'd miss you."
Wow.
And she told her friend
my.
Diane this,
Oh, my.
and then they wrote this song.
Look, you got Bill crying at the bar right now with that story. Look,
No,
a little tear
that's
one
a really
single
horrible
tear rolled
song.
down from his eye on that
It's
one.
very romantic.
It's a tear. That is
No,
romantic.
the
And
lyrics are putrid.
Oh my gosh!
And it doesn't even have a melody that you can remember. Go ahead, sing it right now.
Well, I
dare you-
really wouldn't have a
sing
melody
it.
if we sang
Somebody
it.
sing it. Somebody sing that stupid Aerosmith
It's
song.
very romantic.
I would stay awake just to hear you dream. No, see you sleeping. I don't know. It's been a while.
And it was Barbara Streisand.
Watch you smile while you were sleeping. While you're
think
far
that's a cool
away
story.
dreaming.
Yeah, that's because you listen to too much Aerosmith.
Get lost in
See,
the
that's
sweet
not a good melody.
surrender.
That's
Sorry,
like
we
one
don't
of
want to
their-
get hit for
is that one of their
copyright. I gotta be
bigger-
careful.
is that one of their bigger,
Yeah,
well, most
it is,
recent
I
hits?
believe it is their number one hit of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Well,
It
that
is their
came from,
most popular
That
song.
came from Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Actually, it did good service to the movie, which was also a piece of crap.
Oh no! Oh no! Look out! Don't tell Sinbad.
So there's your sick burn. There's your
the
sick burn.
sick burn is Jim hating the movie
around there.
Armageddon.
We got around it and it had a sick burn.
All right.
That
Look
was
out.
nothing about Hall & Oates. He got us off track with Cheerios.
That's right. So we're going to do things in a little bit different order this week. Normally we would go now to the very nice vinyl, but I think I want to save that for the end. I think it's time we go to the talk doggy to me portion. So
we have a puppy.
we always bring in adoptable dogs each week. Please go to pawfikmatch.org. Check them out. They've got all kinds of dogs there. If you are not local to the Triangle area, please check with the rescues around you. There are all kinds of animals that are in need of a loving home. So,
Many animals.
That's right. So who do we have here?
This is Samantha.
Yeah, just come a little bit closer to the microphone.
Okay,
Yeah.
Samantha.
Yeah, there you go. So we got Samantha. How old is Samantha?
She's about 2.5.
Oh my gosh,
Aw.
look at
how long,
her.
How long have you? So you're fostering Samantha. How long have you had her?
We've had her about 6 months now.
6 months, yeah.
When she came to us, she was scared to death of everything, hid in the bathroom or under something. And he's worked with her a lot. She's really come out of her shell.
That's
And
perfect.
she's just sweet as can be.
Awesome.
Bless
So-
you guys for fostering. Wow.
Absolutely. And so have you fostered before? Is she your first or?
No, she's our third one.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about like the fostering experience, because I know that all of the rescues, but in particular Pawfik Match, we're looking for fosters. So
Yeah, we love doing it. You get the dogs, and of course you fall in love with them, and you don't want to let them go.
Right.
But it's nice to know they're going to a home where somebody really wants them.
Right.
It's a great process that Pawfik Match goes through to pick people.
and the
to
rescue
adopt
takes
them.
care of all of the costs
take
and,
care of
and everything.
the
So
vet-
you're just providing the home and the love.
Yes. They
Absolutely.
take care of the
training.
food and the vet bills and everything, and yeah, we just have fun with them.
That's beautiful.
How is she doing here now?
People keep feeding her snacks, so she's happy.
Nice. So she's happy.
There is a
She's
big
such
bunch
a
of treats here,
sweetheart.
that's for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
She is adorable.
She's a Norwich Terrier mix.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so
How much
got
does she
these,
weigh? I can't see from here.
20 pounds.
Oh,
Nice. Oh, she's
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she really is. Oh,
So-
Hey,
she's
Samantha.
so sweet, and
I
she's
love
not making a
terriers.
peep, man. She's nice and she's snuggly there.
she's holding on,
Beautiful.
isn't she?
So, and this is a reminder to everybody out there, either in the bar or in the internet, if you can, please adopt. If you can't adopt, then foster. If you can't foster, then donate. And if you can't donate, then volunteer. There's so many different ways that you can help out. So you go to pawfikmatch.org, and they have all of their adoptable dogs there, and also have their Amazon wish list and other ways that you can donate. So please reach out and help where you can. And of course, Samantha is available, so you can put in an
She'd be
application
a
for her as
great
well.
puppy to take
Look at
home.
how sweet she is.
Look at her ears.
I love it. I know.
She's got great ears.
I know. It's perfect.
So it
Perfect.
looks a little like Sue Ellen and my best friend Ziggy.
Yeah.
Sue Ellen's still there watching.
Yeah.
Was Ziggy Swellen's dog?
Yeah.
Oh, we've heard a lot about
Nice.
Ziggy Swellen.
Yeah, we have heard a lot about
Yeah,
Ziggy.
we
Well,
have.
thank you so much, and we hope that Samantha finds her forever home very soon. So hopefully we'll get lots of apps in for her. So please reach out to
Thank you for
Pawfik
bringing
Match.
her.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So please reach out to go to pawfikmatch.org and check out all of their adoptable singles and doubles. I guess occasionally. they have.
Doubles are
Yeah,
great,
sometimes we-
man. If you can do that,
That's
absolutely.
right. So fantastic.
You know,
stuff.
we've not said this.
Yeah.
Bud, the shop
Bud
dog-
is a rescue.
Bud is a rescue, and he was rescued at 9. Well, we adopted him at 9 years old.
Wow.
So please don't forget the senior
That's right, the
dogs.
senior dogs need
they
love
are
too.
so much
Absolutely.
in need and have so much love to give, and they are so grateful.
That's right.
And they're awesome dogs.
Patricia said that Samantha reminds her of Cookie. That's their dog. Yeah, nice. Oh my. Zen said he loves Armageddon, Jim. You can't.
Who?
Zen
Oh,
Bad.
come on.
Yeah. So there's that.
Well, when would that come out? Was that like mid-90s?
99.
That was a while ago.
99.
Yeah.
I want to say it's right at 99, 98, 99.
Did it
something
make
like
you
that.
cry?
No, it was just big and dumb. Spectacle. I told you I hate spectacle.
What's your
He
favorite movie?
did say he hates spectacle,
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
I don't
which
know.
we'll talk about in just a minute. But we're
Oh,
not
I'm
there
sorry.
yet. We're
But
not there yet.
I
That's
didn't
all right.
mean to bag on Diane Warren. She's written a lot of good
She's written a
songs.
She
lot.
has. She's written a lot.
And she
of
and Barbara
amazing
Streisand
songs.
are friends.
I like Barbara Streisand.
You like Barbara Streisand?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, well, as you see here, we have the Smiths' "The Queen Is Dead" for our album of the week. So that was my choice, and 1986 was a good year for music, I think.
It was, and I love the 80s, but I'm not sure that I knew the Smiths.
Oh, wow. So the Smiths are one of those bands that if you don't know, then they're probably completely off your radar. But the people who do know are like wildly obsessed with them.
So I listened to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I loved any of the songs, but all the songs had a great 80s feel to me.
Yeah.
And so I really liked that part of it. But I don't know that, do they have any songs that maybe I would know as not a real musician?
How Soon Is Now was their biggest hit, which is not on here. I picked this album because it has my favorite song ever on it.
Ever?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
There Is a Light That Never Goes Out.
Yeah.
But to me, this is not their best album. Like I picked it specifically because it has that song on there, and because it's 86 is kind of the middle of their career, so there's a lot. This is where they're kind of mature. It's not
They're
their
very
early
80,
stuff.
it's
not
a
their
very
late stuff.
80s sound.
Yeah.
It's a very 80s sound.
And there is the Smiths have an interesting dynamic. Morrissey is basically the Pope of Mope, so all of his lyrics are kind of droll and sad and whatever, versus Johnny Marr, who's using a lot of jazzy, bright chords
See,
and
I
stuff.
don't even know
so
who's
there's a
in
lot
the
of back and
band,
forth.
so. Do
But
you?
Oh,
Say what?
Sue Ellen says that she misses her Ziggy.
Oh, I know,
So,
me
yeah.
too.
He talks about Ziggy a lot.
He does
so
talk about
he
Ziggy
does.
all the time. So
Every
he is.
Christmas.
Oh, he's
yeah.
got Ziggy's picture. Show it to the camera too, man.
That's,
There's
that's my
Ziggy.
buddy.
He's got
That's our
Ziggy.
buddy
That's his buddy Ziggy right there.
It's on the back of your
So he
license.
keeps-
Don't show
Yeah,
your
I
license.
wrote a
keeps Ziggy
song
with him.
for him,
Yep.
That's so awesome.
which
Yeah.
I can't sing without breaking down.
So,
They get you, don't they?
Yeah.
Man, they get in your heart.
They do.
They really do.
but back to the Smiths. So the way that
Yeah.
the way that I found the Smiths was a lot of the musicians that I respected said that the Smiths were the best ever. Noel Gallagher from Oasis, who I looked up to a lot when I was younger, and he was like, "Look, the Smiths, everything they ever did was amazing." He said they didn't have any scraps. They put out everything that they wrote, and every song was great. And I agree with him.
Ian Anderson went through that recently. He heard a Morrissey interview.
Yeah,
So this guy seems kind of like a jackass, but he listened to his music and he said he loved it.
yeah, yeah.
So the song he was mentioning is the one with the Sandra Bullock movie, The Bus, killing everybody.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
Speed.
And if
If a 10-ton truck kills the both of us, yeah, that is not a Speed reference. Speed came after. It might have been inspired by it.
So I didn't know Smiths until I met this dude. And the first time was Fritz singing that song. What was it?
How soon is now? Yeah,
Oh, that's the one
yeah,
where
yeah.
where I was kind of laughing.
I'm human, and
It's like
I
a
need to be
crying
loved.
song. It's like
Yeah.
a crybaby
And he
song.
asked me, he goes, "Are all of their songs like that?" I said, "Yes, every single
And you
song."
were laughing
If
and
you
people
don't
were
like that,
crying?
you're not gonna. It's
So-
it's the Sad Boys Club.
Yeah, he's like a big crybaby. But
Yeah.
I listened to the whole album, and I mean, they maintain
Is
something.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on it?
Philadelphia Freedom wasn't on it either.
Damn it, I was looking
The
for
band is the band is very good. The bass player, especially, the drummer's good. I'm not sure what the big deal is about the guitar play. He was fine. I'm just hearing him like arpeggiating and doing chords. I haven't heard the thing everyone says. Wow, nobody does that. But
Yeah. So the big thing with Johnny Marr is that he's the only guitar in that band.
he
So
said
all of
no
that sounds
power
good.
chord. He
Yeah.
said no chords that you normally hear. So
Yep.
so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
so I'll
yeah.
give him that.
Exactly. It's complex. A lot of it's very.
And it's, I mean, the guy's passionate, Morrissey, writing the lyrics, you know. I never got into the love songs about, you know, I'd kill the universe just to be next to you kind of thing. But that's how a lot of people feel.
Why do we get along so well?
He's against romance.
We're just-
He's against romance.
Yeah, romance is a little iffy with me, you know. But
And yet you read my poetry and you were like, "It's all right."
no, it is. It's good.
It's all right.
Yeah. So
I appreciate that kind of passion. Just because I don't have it, I'm glad that other people have it, you know.
yeah. And I think so. For me, the other thing about the Smiths is that when I finally did sit down and listen to them, it was the first time that I felt not alone. I was like, "There's somebody else that feels the way that I feel in the world." So this is not. I'm not on the outside. There's not something necessarily wrong with me. There's somebody else who feels the way. I mean, maybe there's something wrong with both of us.
No,
but
I think that's what
it's
a lot of music
Yeah,
does.
it's the idea of like this guy is saying the things that I'm feeling or that I'm thinking. You know.
And then you don't, when you don't
and
feel
that's
so
relatable.
alone, then you kind of really connect,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's very dramatic romanticism, which is kind of
Yeah.
like some of your poems, a
Yeah.
lot of your poems, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well,
which
his are very romantic, yeah.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
probably
Well, thank
prefer to. Then there's the breakup songs where it's funny how the love songs they get very big. The breakup songs they get very petty and they're bitching about, oh, you took my favorite pair of athletic socks when you
Yeah.
laughed at that kind of stuff.
Unless it's the breakup song. Bum, 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 bum.
Greg Kinn. He
Yeah.
also wrote a couple horror novels.
Jeopardy.
That's right.
He
Now
also
was
sang
that
Jeopardy.
that was a one-hit wonder, wasn't it? I know that was last week.
Well, then he
One-Hit
sang
Wonders,
Jeopardy,
but-
too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So two-hit
never
wonder.
two-hit wonder.
Two-hit wonder, yeah.
Good stuff.
And I'm sorry, I don't know that I have a lot to say about this because you
No,
got
there's not. I mean,
way over my head in it.
Yeah, and for me, like this is not easy listening. Like this is not something that you just put on and you're just like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like it does require a little bit of.
But I guess I didn't really listen to the lyrics, but I
Yeah.
liked the music.
yeah.
I liked the music.
And
it's
it's
hot.
cool. I mean,
It's hard to listen to something once and get it like
Totally. When you don't know it, yeah.
like the Elton John album. I just heard most of those
I'm
once.
waiting
and-
for you to make fun of my glasses because they're like Elton John. You haven't said a word.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
You're just asking
Can you
for
lean in?
trouble,
Let's
aren't you?
let's let the audience check them out right here a little bit. Let them see the glasses a little
Like my
bit.
glasses,
There you go.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
first song, like the last song on the Elton John album, went
Yeah.
on too long. They think, well, I can make it epic if I make it 6 minutes long.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
No, you can't just repeat stuff.
Hey, man, wait till we get to Oasis. If I bring an Oasis album in, you're just going to be...
Oh, man. Yeah, well, the
Let's
worst
talk
thing...
about them a lot. I don't even know them.
The worst thing you've said tonight is you looked up to Noel Gallagher.
Yeah. Noel's amazing, man. You know...
I got to say, I don't get it. I've
Yeah.
heard, a dozen Oasis songs. They're all cut from the same... Oh, we don't want to be doing Oasis tonight, right?
Yeah, we're not... this is
Let's
not
go
a-
back to your Smith.
Yeah.
Did you reconfigure the album?
Well, they should have put the bus song last, I think. But,
That would have been a really good way to end the
Yeah.
album, actually.
other
Yeah.
than that, I didn't need to
You
it.
didn't get too involved with it.
Especially
No, it
because,
was
yeah, some girls
put
are bigger than
together.
others. Kind of a joke song. So
Yeah.
ending with that's kind of a,
I thought it was, and their mothers are bigger, whatever that
Yeah,
line
yeah, yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So one of our topics should be that quote from Oscar Wilde: "Talent borrows, genius steals."
I
We'll
agree.
have to get into the borrowing aspect of music, which could include sampling and what
Is
Morrissey
that like
does.
imitation is
Well,
the
he
best form of
takes
flattery?
bits from poetry and stuff and use it in songs, which I
Yeah.
think is a good idea. I don't think
Yeah.
you know, if you're stealing something directly from an artist and not giving them credit, we don't want to talk about Led Zeppelin tonight.
Oh, no.
He's been holding that one in. He's been holding that one in.
Well, that
He's
is
been
our
waiting.
very nice vinyl of the week. So we were doing the Smiths, The Queen is Dead there. It's time for us to go ahead and announce our
It's still
vinyl
early, though. You
for
want me to
next-
complain about what happened in the grocery store
next
this
week. No, we're
What
good. man.
happened?
So what is this here? Jim
know,
Jim has brought this in for us. Here.
Oh, it's a soundtrack.
You betcha.
So we'll all go home and listen to this, and then we'll talk about this next week. So that is the
Is
good,
that Clint,
the
East,
bad,
is
and
that
the
Clint
ugly.
Eastwood?
Yes.
It is. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, Tama's getting excited over there.
Ennio Morricone.
I'm just going to give you, pick out 3 songs to listen to, because some of it's just soundtrack background music. You can listen to the whole thing if you want, but I'm just going to mention 3.
Yeah.
Look, it's in plastic still.
Yeah.
This
Not
is a-
still.
Well, have you ever taken
You
it out?
can buy these things
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
it didn't
protector.
come that
for
way?
collectible LPs.
That's right.
And this wasn't the one I owned, because I wouldn't have made that jackass move of adding up the times on each side.
No, you would just write those.
So what are you said, so for the people playing at home, what are the 3 that you would
Oh, well, you
recommend
got to hear the
listening
good, the bad, and the ugly, which most people are familiar with. The last one, the
Look at how
trio,
short these are. Oh, no, that one's not.
and the one before the last one, Ecstasy of Gold, which unfortunately you've probably all heard on beer commercials.
I've heard Metallica cover it.
And
I don't know
Metallica.
Patricia says that is such a great movie. So
Yeah.
Patricia
What year
out
is
there on
this?
YouTube,
What
yeah.
year is this?
1967 here, but 66 in Italy.
Spaghetti Western.
67, they released all 3 of the Man with No Name movies.
I don't know this movie, but it says neither Union nor Confederate allegiance hampers the man with no name
There you go.
in his pursuit.
Wait a minute,
So
you've
we'll get
never
to-
seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
So forget
Ne-
listening to
neither
the
of you,
soundtrack.
right?
You need to go watch the movie. This is gonna
I'm
turn
going to
into a
guess
movie
Marty
show.
has seen it.
Yeah. All
A
right.
lot.
Okay, well, so everyone at home, you can go listen to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly soundtrack, and you will be on par with us next week, and we will have a custom cocktail from Andy back there at the bar to go along with
Oh,
it.
cowboy cocktail.
But now we
no,
have
that's not cowboy.
reached the portion of the show where we write a song. So let's write us a song right now. Let's see. Anybody out there, you have any suggestions out in the crowd? Maybe something you want to
Anybody?
do? A song?
Hey, Bill.
Did I see Tommy out there?
Bill, give
Yeah, there he is.
us a song suggestion.
I'll put him on camera. That's Tommy. Tommy, wave at everybody. Come, you got to come to the mic, man. You got to come to the mic.
Boston Bill.
Boston Bill. Oh, he made young man noises to let us know that he was going to get
That's
up.
kind of old manish.
So reiterate what I need to do here.
Give us an idea for a song.
It
So
could
you-
just be a word.
Yeah, word, phrase,
Whatever you
concept.
Yesteryear.
Yesteryear. That's
Oh.
specific. I like it. I like
The
it.
whole year, not just the day.
Yeah. Tommy, why don't you add something in the mix, man? Why don't you come toss something in the mic there?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hello, Tom.
Welcome.
That's good. That's good.
We should get a desk like Johnny
I'm
Carson
a,
has.
I'm a huge Morrissey and Johnny Marr fan. By the
My
way.
man. Let's go. The cocktail is apparently
Can we-
fantastic.
In honor to them, can we make the guitar kind of jangly with the?
There you go.
Yeah.
They can put a little jangle on it. All right, I like it.
I'll
Yeah.
do what I can.
Yeah.
All right.
So let me chime in with one comment about The Queen is Dead.
Yes.
It was just kind of ironic when you listen to the song and the music, and like I said, the jangly guitar, it doesn't really vibe with or mesh with, Morrissey's kind of melancholy, sardonic, sarcastic wit.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's like, sarcasm, but with like happy music.
The contrast, yeah.
And the way it kind of, I was 21 in 1986, so the first song that I remember off that album was
You remembered it then.
There Is a Light, obviously.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
It was an anthem.
Yeah.
Because you're like, and Big Mouth. And,
Yes, Big Mouth
came
Strikes
out,
Again,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
We loved it. We didn't really listen to the lyrics that much because the music was so great.
Right.
But and you could dance to Big Mouth.
And I will never forget, I was in college listening to this, which
Yeah.
many years after the
Yeah.
fact, but still. And my teacher was like, what are you listening to? I was at that point, I was listening to Meat is Murder. And they're
Okay.
like, oh man, Morrissey, like his music's so depressing. And I was
Right.
like, I don't find it
Right.
depressing.
But
I don't find this
yeah,
Smiths depressing.
yeah.
I think
But
it's
if nothing else, it was original. You had never
Yeah.
heard anything like it.
yeah, and nobody else was doing anything
Yeah,
like that.
so
Yeah.
that's my-
Have you
that's-
tried? Have you
that's my
tried
2
the-
cents.
We got the themed cocktail tonight, right?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's a thorn in my side for boy with a thorn in his
okay.
side. Yeah, yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it's apparently it's delicious. Marty had that earlier. Said it was good. Yeah, yeah,
So I remember Tommy requested that song on your first radio show,
yeah.
which got me the giggles.
This
For
brings it kind of full circle.
That's right. Jim and I do radio shows. That's right. When you hear that, it's time to drink. All right.
But I like it more. I'm picturing that double-decker bus and crushing the lovely couple.
That's right. That's right.
Is that in the song?
It is. Yeah.
Good
If
Lord, I miss a lot of
double-decker
stuff with your old
bus
song.
crashes into
He
us.
like
Yeah.
would be happy dying with this woman. So
What song was this?
That's
There's a
the,
light
There
that'll
Is a
never go
Light.
out. That's my favorite song of all time.
I'm gonna have to look up the lyrics
Yeah.
on that because I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get that when I was listening. But I don't get a lot of your all stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to come up with a jangly.
Yeah, something a little jangly. This is how the sausage gets made here.
What's jangly mean?
It's got that little high pitched kind of twinkly twinkly. These are very
Twinkly,
technical,
twinkly.
very technical terms
See, now
here.
that I get.
Yeah, there you go.
Three minor chords, too. Two minor chords. Wait a minute.
We're letting the songwriter do his thing.
Can you do something with that?
Oh yeah, I got you. Keep it going, man. There was a time, there was a place. I saw the sunlight upon your face, but the sharp dog came into frame. It was a yesteryear that we could all abstain. I know that you love me. I know that we will be forever two, but never three. I know that you and me will always drink when we hear Gemini, Gemini.
They're getting drunk now.
There was a day, there was a place. I saw the sunlight upon your face, reminded me of that yesteryear glow. It was when Jim and I, we played our show. Jim and I, we played write songs that people like to sing. And Jim and I, we made everybody drink everything. Jim and I, Jim and I, we determined that Monday was the new Friday. Climb your way back home, crawl, call an Uber if you need to, but please don't drive after you've been drinking with Jim and I. In that yesteryear flow, Jim and I. Thanks for watching our show. All right. You're still standing, Marty. You're still standing. I got you, brother.
Oh,
my
my
friend.
goodness.
Cheers to you. All right.
You are bound and determined tonight, my friend.
I was helping.
You hear
So
that? Someone just requested you to take your shirt off.
somebody asked me to take my shirt off. Not on camera. That'll be for the after show. For the after show there. So if you're here live,
You'll have
I
to
might.
come to see that.
That's right. You have to be here in person for that. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. The Maverick
Thank
Rose
you.
Music Hour has been brought to you by our friends at Rescue Wood Rehab. We film live on location at the Niche Wine Lounge. Please go to MaverickRoseMusic.com. Check out all of the wonderful things that we have there on offer. The poetry books are available. Check us out on Patreon.
Patreon.
At patreon.com/The Maverick Rose Music Hour. And you can catch all of the replays, all of the wonderful content here. And we are now going to shift over to the live performance part of our show. So if you are here in person, don't go anywhere.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you so much for rocking with us. We will catch you next week. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.